Hi, this is a view of the River Frome near Moreton that I took last week, or last Sunday week, when we were down there near Moreton Church, where T.E. Lawrence is buried, well, in the local village churchyard. Beautiful Dorset countryside, and this could be anywhere, this river really, it could be the Wandle. But it's very beautiful. It's quite near the church. But I took quite a few of rivers. The River Asker in Asker's Park at Bridport, and this lovely river. There's a wonderful ford nearby. So I thought I'd make a nice painting there. But the big departure is that I'm going to do it in acrylic, but using a sponge. I'm basing the technique on Terry Harrison. I saw him do. He came to Carl Shorten and Wellington Art Group many years ago, over 25 years ago probably, and I saw him do 3 evenings with us, and he demonstrated his sponge paintings with acrylic, and we all learnt a lot from him. He's still around. Have a look on YouTube or Google, and go and have a look at his gallery and some of the works he does. He's a really good demonstrator, probably one of the best. And I did this earlier, but for some reason I mucked the recording of it and deleted the wrong one, and I can't find the view I did of that in the recycle bin, so I'm having to do it again. But I'm going to do it on a much larger scale. This is the let's come up to the board. I'm using a slightly cut down piece of half imperial Fabriano. Not that it matters, it's acrylic, so it doesn't matter what you use really. But it's a question of technique. So that's the one I had a go at, and I haven't done one of these for, well, I've never really done sponge painting, never had much joy with it, because like all things, it has to be practiced. And Terry Harrison makes it look so good and easy, like anything else, because he's done a lot of it. So I'm not copying him or anything like that. I'm just going to do my version with an age-old technique of sponging. A very messy business. That's why I got my smock on. And with acrylic, to do the sky, with this technique, and this is Terry Harrison's idea, that acrylic doesn't bleed out like watercolour. It goes a certain way and then stops on wet paper, and you can flood it with water, but it won't dilute beyond a certain point. So it's not really watercolour, although you can do similar to watercolour paintings with it. So what we do, we use watercolour for the skies. The river I can do it, I can sponge in, because I managed it on the other one. But it's a case of mixed techniques really, isn't it? But never mind. We'll see how we get on. I'll put this to one side so I can see it. And I'll get my palette. The colours that I use are my colours. You can use whatever colours you want. But I've got on here, on my Stay Wet palette, I've got alizarin crimson at the top, so I'll go clockwise. Ultramarine, some burnt sienna, some viridian, which really I've got for mixing with the alizarin to make a dark, a light green, medium yellow, and yellow ochre. So the first thing to do is to put the sky in, or wet the paper first anyway, and then put the sky in. And then I'll dry it with a hairdryer, and we'll crack on with it. So I'll take that out of my, it's a Ziploc bag. Right, so I'll paint all over. I'm a bit high here. Maybe I'll take it down a bit. I want to wet it all over rather than just where I'm going to put the sky, because I want it to expand uniformly so that I can then just reclip it as it expands. Okay, now very quickly we'll wash in some colour, we'll make a sky, so a bit of yellow ochre, just to give a bit of warmth in the sky. doesn't have to be covered all over. Now we're putting a bit of blue. Blue. Nice, good strong blue. See, a stronger bit of alizarin goes well with the ultramarine. I'll just put a bit in the water there. Okay, I'll put that back in the Ziploc. Thanks to Maria Kellner who gave me the idea. It's obvious really, isn't it? But I didn't think of it. But then, getting old. Well, that's one of these document bags. It seals and keeps the paint moist until you use it again, probably next day. Longer than that, it will dry out. Right, okay, so I'm going to dry that now, so take your headphones off for a moment. Let's move that. Headphones off. I'll do. I'm going to lower this down a bit because it's just a bit too high for comfort. Right, okay, do this the top one, and then I'll move the camera a little bit. Let's move that there. Just clean the water off my screen here. Right, okay, come up a bit. Right, there we are. I'll reclip the paper, a bit nice and flat. I've had to cut the paper down to fit this blue hardboard. For some reason I've painted on the bit I had cut originally for the half imperial. But I've got to mount that, it just fits. It's all right width-wise, but the height, it was for some Smiths, W.H. Smith's watercolour blocks that I bought, they were selling them cheap, which was slightly larger, deeper than the Fabriano, the half imperial. Right, okay, take my brush out of that water there. The only brush I'll use with this acrylic will be, I don't know, I might use the Hake. But you have to be very careful with acrylic, of course, because if you leave it to dry, it will ruin your brush. Right, sponges. Me sponges, just any old sponge really, but not the regular shape of foam rubber. Right, okay, so we've got to show a bit of distance, so we'll put the middle tree in first. So a bit bluey. I'll show you what I'm doing, but if I do this too often I'll forget to zoom you up. So I'm just going to mix up a bit of blue, bit of white, bit of yellow, to give this tree about there. And the thing is with this, you can change it as you go, or as soon as it's dry you can go on with your darks and lights. So we've got the bank coming along there, so we'll mix a bit of alizarin, bit of viridian, give a bit of dark in this bank here. Right. You need the darks so that it will show your lights against the counter change. And it's going to bounce a lot, I can't avoid that. So we've got a lot of dark shadow in here, going up into one of these trees, probably even darker than that. So if I mix a bit of alizarin with a bit of ultramarine with all that, we might get a suitable sort of dark green. Let's put a bit of yellow in there. So it's great fun to do, but how it's going to pan out, we just don't know. It's really dark in here, a lot of shadow. I'm not convinced about that green, dark green. Bit of the more alizarin in there. Okay, so we've got this, and we've got shadow coming right down into the reflection on the water here. So the light is coming from this side because it's casting the shadow across. As you can see, a bit more water in there. So I'll put in the darks first. I'm not going to use black for these. Now we've got a bit of ivy coming up here. And some trees there, and a bit up here, and then this tree here. Right, it's a bit hit and miss. I need more dark in there. I'm going to use some red and black. Why not? I can't do the tube. Right, I'll put my bit of red there. And I'm going to have a bit of black because I like black. And trying to get things dark enough is proving to be a bit of a problem. So where's my black paint gone? There it is. So bear with me. Yeah, I really don't know what happened to my video. I tried it. Oh, it was a nightmare. Right, red. Bit of yellow in there to make it a nice dark green. That's better. I want dark green rather than the black. Going down, that's dark in there. I might do this in two parts if it proves to be a bit tricky. Like the red in my greens. I'll go over that. And that is dark there, that's shadow cast by the other tree, so get that in. And we've got a lot of frondage coming across here. Another new word, frondage. Right, black, red, yellow. So it's a dark green rather than a black, and it's all coming up here. Bit of wet. This is all shadow. It wouldn't be this. It's because the camera overexposes the light and darks when you take a photograph. You know all that, of course. Right, okay. So that is where all my lights are going to go. But I need to just cover it first because you can go back over it with the lights. Now, that comes across there, and we've got a dark bit of bank there, and then the bank comes down here. So with red, black, yellow. I'll just put a little bit of dark there. I'm going to cover all that with light, but apart from a bit that will show through as shadow. Right, okay. So let's get that dark. There's more dark here, so it's probably a bit bluey dark, rather than. Let's put a bit of white with it. Okay. Now I can put in my. It's a dark sort of bank coming across here. Not bank. It looks like there could be a path behind that. So that's the shadow, slight shadow, under shadow of the lower boughs of there. Okay. Clean my brush, my sponge. This is a messy old business, but good fun. So let's put in some nice lights. A bit of black in with that. Let's start getting some of this in. Pull my screen back. And a bit of white in there. Oh, what with knife painting and sponge painting. More green now. And that comes down, all this light there. What's that? Okay. Now we'll get some grey sort of greens in here. No to use plenty of water with this. It makes a lot of lovely marks. Okay, so that's all right, it's coming on. I'll get that dark going along there. Now we want some nice good lights here. But not whites, don't use white, pure white, just use a slight colour. So that needs to be darker there. Right, so darker green, bit of red, and yellow, black. You get better with this, add this with a bit of better practice, of course. And then we've got, get some shapes in here, show the shadows, to look for these things. And there's a sort of it's got a little bit higher there. Right, still need some more dark. which is a creative mess at the moment. It needs to be darker. But by putting a bit of red in the green, it enhances the greens. Right, okay. So we'll just get more darks, just a few more darks in there. So that when we go over it with the lights, it will make the lights look lighter. We mustn't forget that little bit, so the sort of bank comes out there. That's sort of in shadow from something or other. So I'm painting because it's there, just light. So if it says dark, paint it dark. If it says light, paint it light. And then we've got a bit of shadow down there. Right, let's have another sponge. So now we want the really good lights, the light yellowy grasses with a bit of white with that. That's the top of that bank. You see, that's why I painted it dark, so that the shadow, or the tops of these grasses will show, and then slightly yellower. That's not happening, is it? Right, okay, some more yellowy lights, more white. These are the darks are the shadows, and it's not too bad actually. It probably doesn't look real. I suppose if it looks right, it is right, and if it looks wrong, it is wrong. But I'll show you where I am on the. Oh, sorry. Yeah, that's the problem. I'm an amateur movie maker. Well, with that you can get the idea of what I'm trying to do there. That bank on the right, left. Right, let's go back here. I don't know how long that was down for. Right, you'll have to guess what I'm doing on the palette because I keep making that mistake. Right, we'll put in some of that light on the other side now, all the way along here. I'm mixing a bit of yellow, a bit of yellow ochre to try to get all this. A bit of that coming across there. Just tone that down a little bit. It obliterates quite quickly. pull down here. The shadow here, put some light coming in here. Bit of light on the back of that. If we quite a bit of yellow, well, let's make it more green. So let's just put this. This is the stuff sticking up on the bank here, and we've got this showing through here. I'll do the water with sponges because it seemed to work in my previous effort. Just a bit in there, shining through. There's a bit of green over here because it's still sun. Well, it's autumn now, but a couple of weeks ago it was still late summer. Okay. Alright, go back to some dark in there now. So black, red and yellow. All red. So warm it up a bit. So this is all nice and dark shadow here. This red will, you can hardly see it on the screen probably, but we have got some nice lights shining up here. So let's put those in. I'm going to go over them. It's all sticking down over here. I'll go over these with the water, but then I can reinstate them, but I want to know where I'm going in this. So, put the white in there. So they're sort of overhanging. And more lights in there. Okay, so I'll put some more darks back on the other side. Black, red, yellow. Right, I need some more yellow now. Palette. Clean. Medium, I'm going to get some more of this medium yellow. It's the equivalent of cadmium yellow medium. Right, I'm going to put some bare trees in by just a bit of sienna. Just and I can paint into those. These would be twigs, the end of branches. Okay, that'll do. Right, now let's go the water. I'm still not happy with that yet. Just get that bone dry, then I might put some highlights on it. Right, okay, so we've got very, very light blue. So let's clean the palette. So light blue. Not quite nice blue, it's more white, but anyway. See how important it is to counterchange light against dark. It's everything. It's showing the colour of the sky, the reflection of the sky. See, it doesn't matter what you put on underneath, you can easily, quickly cover it up. Just to think how, well, taking it with a brush. But we've got a blue sky, so we've got that blue in the water. And I can reflect some colours in it. This all needs to be soft. Right, okay, that's the basic colour. Now we need to reflect. I don't know if it's a reflection of that in there or whether it's showing pebbles, but it's very light and I'm going to put it in. And some of it sort of dotted around here. Put it in here. Now let's put some light highlights on that water. Very light yellow ochre because that's in the sky. And right, let's get in with some shadow, dark shadow now. So red, be a sort of a greeny reflection. Up to there. A little bit in here. And we'll go and do a bit in the tree. I've got to lighten some of this. It's not quite coming off. This goes up much more into that. So let's clean the sponge. I'm really bitter about losing that video. I don't know where it's gone. If you can't find it on the recycle bin, where can you find it? Answers on the postcard, please. So lemon yellow, yellow ochre, load of white. Oh, let's put them in. They're probably not going to show because the blue is not dark enough, so I might have to do some darker blues. Little bits in here. Won't overdo that, but bit of green on there. It's just a bit too heavy. Right, dark. So the usual dark, red, black, yellow. Right, blew that water a bit. I'm quite pleased. I might do a little bit of wiggle at the end. But I think I'm going to have a cup of tea. No, I won't. I'm going to try and finish it. That's just running away like a cow, isn't it? Because it's getting difficult. So let's have a bit darker. Let's have a bit of crimson in that. I'm doing this so that these lights look lighter. And then we can put some highlights of the yellow ochre, but not close to where I'm trying to make it light. Probably, if I just make that bank on the right just a little bit darker, or the reflections darker, in here. Because they do come out quite a way. They're shadows as much as reflections. There's more darks in there. Right, okay. I'm going to have chapped hands. Alright, let's just get some highlights in there. I think the worst thing you can do is guess. Just put in what's there, or try to put in what's there, rather than what you think is there. That's the key. Right, going with some yellow ochre in that to reflect those clouds. It's not really showing, I can't get much lighter than that. Maybe because we're in the middle here, I can afford to go a bit lighter on that blue. Just keep it dark where I need the light shining through from this overhanging bit of frondage. Now we can afford to put a bit of light against that there. That's a bit of sparkle, isn't it? Right, let's go back to that greeny white. Plenty of white in this. Looks right. Just a little bit shining through here. Just using bits of the sponge. Just a little bit of colour in with that white. Right, okay. Go back to the other side now. Let's see if we can do something with that bank. I'll dry it off a little bit. And lots of bits over that shadow. All directions of these grass heads, seed heads, bits of whatever you get on the banks. I can't see any warm colours in there, really. No siennas. That needs to be a bit more diffuse here. More merged, less distinct. Right, let's knock up I'll use a hake, see what happens. Want it to look dark, so a bit of black, bit of sienna, bit of yellow. Oh, it's a bit obvious, isn't it? But I'll go around that and knock some of that out. And we've got quite a big bit in here. can't get enough wet on the rigger. Okay, let's get that nice and wet. Oh, that's working all right. Okay, let's do a bit of that on the other side. So there's a lot of water in this brush, so that's why it's actually working. But this is acrylic, not watercolour. Right, some little flicks and flourishes now in here. Still not quite convinced about that separation there. And it's just a bit more dark and greeny colour. Just lose the edges of those, or the ends of those, I say. Instated some green in there. Not a lot, but some. Right, I'm going to sign that. I'm going to put it in the mount. Right. One bit there, and when I find it. Right in front of my nose. Right, mount. Just about fits. So there we are. That is the Frome River, the Dorset. Doesn't quite fit the mount, but maybe if I. So I'll hope to get, if I carry on with this technique, I might get better. But it gives you an idea of what you can do with various implements, with knives and sponges, in addition to the pure watercolour line and wash. There's no limit other than the ones you set yourself. So there we are, River Frome. It's nowhere near as good as the photograph, of course, but then I don't really aim for a slavish likeness. But it still needs to translate to a landscape that we're working from. But the picture should always reflect your personality. Right, okay. So there we are, River Frome, near Moreton, Dorset. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.